The Robs and Robs, man. Here we go again, and it's always such a blessing to be able to do this, to be able to share in God's word, and to be able to grow. I think for me, it is amazing that every single time after we're done with an episode, I feel more rich, which is amazing. And this time, let's have a look at Ecclesiastes 4 verse 6, where it basically speaks about chasing the wind. Let me just put it plain and simple like that. It's chasing the wind. Rob, where have you felt that you in what we do? It's almost like and I love the Afrikaans saying to this, "Gejaag na wind." It literally explains it to the key, because you sometimes feel like that when you're in the city and when you're not really getting to what you would want to get. It's a rat race and you're chasing after wind. Have you ever felt that way within your life and within your business?
Oh, yeah. They actually left the big smoke of Johannesburg and moved to the middle of nowhere because of it. And the word that comes out to me as we look at Ecclesiastes 4
So,
6 is
uh,
peace. And um, I'm a firm believer that everything that's good is made off a platform of peace. Um, and that's what I feel when I think about, one handful with tranquility. It's about peace.
come on.
The exposing myself to aggressive driving for 3 or 4 hours a day in Johannesburg, for instance, it just didn't bring out the best version of me.
Mm.
Um, the the big electric fence and whatever else around the property just didn't bring out a great version of me. It was something I was aware of. And I look at what's happened to my business since I moved to Hogsback here in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. And it's a miracle how the most counterintuitive thing, which is to go and move 12 hours drive from most of your customer base in a country, how that actually has magnified my income. I don't know how many times. I think it's over 5 times in 2 years, 2.5 years. Um, and,
That is
and
an amazing revelation. My goodness.
it's crazy. And so you think about the traditional entrepreneur business stuff that you'll find on YouTube if you're watching that here, or on TikTok or Instagram, wherever it is you're seeing us. The hustle, the grind, the hitting it hard, the push, the aggression. Other than, iron sharpening iron, where else does it actually tell us that we need aggression to go and form something good? Where we need to force nature to do something good? We don't learn that in any other place. And
Mm.
so, how come it's become such a big thing in our business entrepreneurial world? When sleep deprivation, another one. I mean, it's become such a big thing that it feels just not biblical. Why on earth would we grow a business saying we're a Christian but not doing it in His name with His guidance? I don't know. What do you find?
I think it's quite amazing that you say this, because it's society. Society has taught us, and the instant thing that we have is this phone. Is we see it the whole time. We see people busy the whole time, graphing the whole time, and we think we must do the very same. Where it's like you say, God wants to get us into a point where we are literally just being in his presence. We are literally just being obedient to him and to his pace of doing things as well. I mean, even if you check in biblical times how Jesus used to travel, it used to take quite some time to get to a certain point. And I think that is the stuff that we should also try and get within us, and not to chase after wind. I mean, just the mere fact of him going to Lazarus, that he took, like, if you do a deeper study into it, you'll see that he actually took 6 to 7 days to reach to Lazarus, but still Lazarus rose from the dead. And I think we that chase after wind, we don't find that quality, we don't find things really coming to life because we rush it. We definitely rush it, and I'm very I'm guilty of that, because it's something that my wife had to say, man. Ali Rivatos doing all of these things that we're doing, it seems like we're chasing after wind because nothing really materializes. And I had to tell myself, Tubbs, slow things down, look at what's important, spend time with your wife in the first place, spend time with your family, and the rest will follow, because I wanted everything to happen now. And that is merely because I saw a Rob Yates making it. I saw a Marcius van Antwerp making it. And I thought, man, Tubbs, you have to be in the same league. But we are in different leagues, and God has created us differently. And God has different goals for us. And God has different time frames for us to reach to certain goals as well. And how to make peace with that. And I think for me, this verse literally just stamps it again, that Tubbs, whatever is destined for you will come. As we spoke a little bit earlier on, it's just a matter of being faithful, and it's just a matter of literally taking it one step at a time.
So I've got this view on the world. When I was at school, and I'm sure many people can relate to this, you had a 30 centimetre or 12-inch long ruler made of plastic, often said shatterproof in the middle. And I mean, you could use it for all sorts of things, to flick things at teachers. Well, that's what I did anyway. And I often play with this in my mind, right? If success of some sort is joining the ends of the ruler together, most people have their ruler and they're grabbing hold of the ends and they're forcing the ruler together, trying to get it to flex to the point, but ultimately just before the ends meet, it snaps, right? And something in your world snaps. And I think we've all experienced it when we're trying to force everything. We could say that's going against God's timing and God's plan, but we could also say that we're not actually listening to God and we're not using the intellect that we've been given. Because it strikes me that if I was just to let go of the ends and apply massive amounts or even some heat in the middle of the ruler, some heat with a blowtorch or even hot water or something like that, it would become supple enough where gravity would just bend the ends of the ruler down to touch it. And for me, that's what this verse actually talks about, is to business owners, is how much are you busy trying to force based upon some agenda or some fear or some greedy desire or something, when actually you're just not focusing your effort, energy, thought, learning, and everything into the place that will make the difference, which is how do we put heat in the middle? How do we warm up that ruler? And I think we all know we've been guilty of it, to be so. We've all snapped the ruler, right? Maybe that's exhaustion. Maybe that's crashing your car. I mean, can you relate to that?
Definitely. My breaking the ruler was burning out and almost losing my marriage, and basically having no relationship with my family. And for me, that it's not worth it. It's honestly not worth it. And for me, my bringing, even though, and it's I love this analogy that you used. It's amazing. Even though maybe it's bringing a bit of heat to the middle of the ruler to be able to bend, to be able to bring this heat takes time. You have to boil the water. That's time. You have to pour it maybe into something that you can then place and the heater. So for me, that's time. And it taught me something, that Tubbs, wherever you want to reach, it's going to take time. It's literally going to take time. You just have to be patient, and you have to keep things together. And you also have to prioritize as to what's important. I mean, my marriage is important to me, and my family is important to me more than material things, more than this thing that can snap. So I had to really, can I say, collaborate my mind and restructure my mind, and to also literally not force anything at all, and to allow God to do that work. And I think once He has done the work, it's a perfect work. It's a work that will not snap.
It's interesting. We should all be careful what we pray for and what we aspire towards. You know, I watch a number of people online, some of whom I know personally, some of whom I've met in the past. And I look at their ruler, and the ends have joined, and everybody's focusing on the ends have joined, right? What often is covered in the palm of their hand is actually the break in the middle. And they're busy trying to mask the break in the middle, but there's only so long you can mask the break in the middle for. We spoke in our last conversation around, faking it till you make it, and the debt trap of trying to look wealthier than you actually are, and so on and so forth. But maybe there's actually a break in the middle, and we know there is, because ultimately people let that slip in a way, online in their social media, or in public at some point in time. And so we've got to be very careful. The humble person who doesn't look that wealthy, who's got the ends joined together, is probably the person who you want to take advice from. But that means, in my opinion, that you can see their kids, their wife, their home, their everything, because it's all transparent. And then you can see the whole of the ruler. But if there's certain elements that are missing, then maybe they're missing on purpose, and they just want you to focus on, look, the ends are together, but they don't want you to focus on the other end. And so one of the things that I've done over the years is, and I invite so many people every year to come stay on my property. It's not a glamorous, sexy property. I mean, it's sexy for me, but it's not glamorous with big pillars and a mansion that's 10 bedrooms and whatever else. But it's mine. Come see me. Come meet my wife. Come meet my kids. Come hang out with us. Come see what we do. And that's an invitation to anybody, because I believe in my heart, if I'm to offer a godly service, that I actually need to be able to show the ends of the ruler joined together with the center still intact. And I think, Thabiso, that's what you're talking about. Like, the center needs to still be intact. Otherwise, it's just a show of fakery.
Man, I love that, Rob. With that, let's go out there and not chase after wind, and be able to be patient. Ah, man, like I said, I love your ruler analogy. Just literally, it put everything to perspective. It's amazing. We can write a book on that, Rob. We can write a book on that.
We are going to write a book. We spoke about that the other day. It's going to happen.
100%.